Triple Belgium attack and why I'm going without Harry Kane. Welcome to the January Teacher YouTube show. Hope you guys are well. This is my team selection video for match day 1 of Euros Fantasy. And I've been waiting weeks to show you this team. I've been tinkering daily rather than show you a ton of videos with tiny changes each time. This is the team that I'm going with for match day 1. There could be 1 or 2 tweaks, but this is a considered approach from me and I'm really keen to get your thoughts. So please do hit that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's have a look at who I'm going for. So I've covered up the midfielders, defenders, and goalkeepers. We'll get to them, but let's talk about strikers. So when we look at the top strikers, of course, we would love Ronaldo, Kane, Mbappe. You probably can't afford them all, okay? So for me, when I look at that top tier, it's Mbappe or Kane for me. And when you look at goal scorer odds and you look at the fixture, Mbappe just edges it for match day 1. I should mention my chip strategy. I'm effectively going for 4 free hits, right? Match day 1, it's a new team. Match day 2 will be a new team. It will be a wildcard or limitless for me. Match day 3 will be the same. And match day 4 for everyone will be on a wildcard. So I'm just picking players for the first 4 rounds of this 7-round tournament game. New team 4 times. Really exciting. So all these guys are just for 1 week only, and then I'll reevaluate for match day 2. I do think Harry Kane versus Serbia is a difficult game. I don't think it's a gimme. I fancy Mbappe versus Austria. I fancy Ronaldo too, but I'm going to go with Lukaku instead. And Lukaku, I think, when you look at Lukaku's price, I think he's phenomenal value, especially for that opening game. That's why I'm going triple Belgium attack. I just love the matchup on paper. And Lukaku at 9 million, I think is phenomenal value. De Bruyne is a similar price point. We may be talking about him in just a second as well. So look, Lukaku ended the season really well for Roma. Lukaku is Belgium's main man. It's the last of that kind of Belgium golden generation, to last chance for them to maybe do something or win something. And I just think Lukaku's a really, really nice option. He is, of course, playing for a transfer as well, heavily linked with Conte's Napoli team. I could definitely see him going there. But again, another incentive to up your game this summer. Mbappe, we don't need to speak about. What you see is what you get, right? You think back to the last couple of major tournaments, like in the World Cup as well. The World Cup final, he loses and still bags all those goals. Was it a hat-trick he got against Argentina? I think it may have been. Was it a brace? Can't remember. Just so good when he wears that French shirt. He's amazing when whatever shirt he wears, but when he puts the France jersey on, you just feel like he carries that team. And then Scamacca. We are hoping that Scamacca starts for Italy. We know from the first warm-up game he wasn't available. He just joined the squad late because of Atalanta's late end to the season. Retegui got the nod against Turkey. It was 0-0. Retegui blanked. I expect Scamacca to play in Italy's final friendly, which is Sunday, and then I expect him to get the nod. What we won't see from Scamacca is sets in 90 minutes. I don't think you need him playing 90 minutes when he's got Albania and when he costs only 7 million. He's a really nice budget pick for the opening match day, in my opinion. So they're my 3. I'm feeling fairly confident about them. I, of course, would love Ronaldo. I really like Portugal for the opening game as well. And there is a world in which maybe one of them, like Mbappe could come out for Ronaldo, and then that gives me a little bit more money. We'll talk more about that next week. But for the time being, it's Lukaku, it's Mbappe, and it's Scamacca. Let's have a look then at the midfielders. This is, for me, where you really are starting to ask questions. You're starting to think of all the different combinations you can go to. There are so many different combinations in midfield, and there's a ton of players between 7 million and probably 8.5 that you really want to squeeze in. You can only have 5. And remember, the beauty of this game is you're building a squad of 15 players, all of which that can feature in your 11. You're not leaving dead spots like you might in other fantasy games where you have a sub 2 or a sub 3 that you know will never get on. Because we can make changes and because we can substitute players on and off your bench, you're building a squad of 15. Therefore, that mid-price point is really, really optimal for many. Let's have a look, shall we? Midfielders, who we got? So we have let's go left to right, shall we? We're starting with Germany. I think I really want to go big on Germany in terms of hopes for the tournament. I think home advantage is massive. And I like the Scotland fixture. I do think Scotland might cause a few teams problems. I do expect a Germany win, and I do expect it to be a tight game at maybe a 1-0 win. Therefore, I'm not going all out on Germany attack. Havertz would be nice. Musiala is a great option, although he's quite expensive. Sane, if he starts, is great at 7 million, but we just don't know if he will. One guy we know that will start is Florian Wirtz, and I think he'll be my opening captain. We'll talk about captaincy in a minute. So Wirtz is in. Nice price point. Good fixture, plays in the opening game, and he gives me a captaincy option. Remember, captaincy, you can change every single day of the round. That's up to 5 captains in match day 1, and we'll talk about who those 5 might be for me. Remember, once you've moved your armband off one player, you can't move them back. So if Wirtz disappoints and blanks, I can move the armband to Skamaka on day 2. If he goes and gets me 10, 12 points, I'll be holding him and he'll just stay for the round. So Wirtz is in. I expect Germany to win. But as I mentioned, I don't think it's high scoring. I don't think we need to go double or triple Germany attack. If I saw that Leroy Sané was starting, I could start Sané, who's 7 million, instead of Simmons of Holland. Xavi Simmons is a great option. He plays Poland in that opening game. I don't have much Dutch cover. But 7 million, I think, is a really nice price point. If he's going to start, he should be starting in the front 3 for Holland against Poland there. And Poland, again, I don't think offer a huge amount. I definitely expect the Netherlands to win that game. And at 7 million, I'm surprised he's so low. De Bruyne, we all know what we get with De Bruyne in fantasy games. We're going to get chances in terms of chance created galore. He's 9.5 million, so a little bit more than Lukaku. But again, I love that combination and then this is just fixture led. And actually, when you look at the Belgium group, regardless of your chip strategy, it's a nice run of games. They got Slovakia, Romania, and then Ukraine. I think there's a very good chance I have triple Belgium in match day 2 for Romania as well, by the way. I think Ukraine is the hardest fixture there for them. So De Bruyne is in. And again, I just fancy Belgium as dark horses. I fancy Belgium to put up some big scores in the groups. Belgium and Portugal are the 2 teams that I really like for the group stages because of their teams, and they've got loads of exciting attacking players, but also because of the fixture matchups. Speaking of Portugal, Bruno Fernandes. He has ended the season so well, hasn't he? When you look at his contributions in the last year or 2 at Portugal, no one's got better. It's something like he's averaging more than a goal or an assist every game. He's averaging more than 1 goal contribution per game. And even on Wednesday nights, Tuesday nights friendly, I think they won 4-2. Again, couple of returns for Bruno. Really good price point. I'm surprised again. I think he could have been priced higher. I think Bruno's a bit of a steal at 9 million. I'd have expected 9.5, maybe even 10 with his recent form. So to get Bruno at 9, I love. And again, fixture's nice. It's Czech Republic. I would love more Portugal cover. And for the time being, Bruno is the only Portuguese player in. Where I make potential changes to this team could be Mbappe out, Ronaldo in, for example, and then maybe even a Portugal defender like a Cancelo, who again is expensive. 5th midfield slot, I just need to know he's starting, and it's massively loose in terms of Belgium attackers. We think that the front line will be, sure, we know De Bruyne and Lukaku will be in there, and then you expect Trossard, Doku, and Charles de Ketelaere to be 2 from 3. De Ketelaere has had an amazing season at Atalanta, got to the Europa League final, started in that. He's on loan from AC Milan. He was a very talented kid that Milan paid, I think, 30+ million for a couple of seasons ago. This is a kid with big reputation. He's now flourishing, and I think he could have a big Euros, but we need to know he's a starter. If he is, he's 6.5 and he's got the same fixtures as Lukaku. De Bruyne. There's a lot to like. So that's where I'm at with the midfield. There are other players I really like. Sane at 7 million. Is definitely attractive. I think Mudryk for Ukraine is attractive because of the group he's in. And then, as I mentioned, even look, I would love the likes of there's some midfielders that are listed as forwards, which is a bit of a shame. I think UEFA maybe made a bit of an error. Usually, if you play wide, no matter who you are in fantasy games, if you play wide, you're a midfielder. So Mo Salah, Raheem Sterling, you're thinking here of FPL, right? These guys have always been listed as midfielders, even if they're the most advanced man on the pitch. Now, Some of these guys in my midfield are wide forwards. Charles de Ketelaere, great example there. He's a wide forward, rightly listed as a mid. But there are 3 players in particular that have caught my eye that are listed as forwards, and I don't think they should be. And if they were all midfielders, all 3 of them would be on my watch list. In fact, 1 or 2 of them would probably be in my 11. Chiesa, 7.5 for Italy. If he was a mid, he'd be in my team, but he's a 7.5 forward. Rafa Leão at Portugal. I would love Rafa Leão in my team, but he's listed as a forward. So I'm just a little bit restricted there. I think Jeremy Doku might even be listed as a forward as well. But, you know, Trossard's a midfielder. It makes no sense. But that's where we're at. I like this midfield a lot. It covers a lot of bases. It stacks up on, Belgium big time, especially when you look at the forwards. So let's have a look now at my defenders. But before we do, just wanted to give a little shout out. If you fancy becoming a member, you can hit the word join below the screen and you can become a squad or an Ultras member. Ultras got the WhatsApp, but there's exclusive content for both squad and Ultras members throughout the Euros. Always on this channel. If you fancy it, hit the join button. And thank you guys for hitting that like and subscribe button as well. That is awesome to see. You're hitting those like and subscribe buttons en masse. I see ya. Loads of newbies coming on as well for the Euros. So welcome to the journey. I'll be doing these team selections every match day. Let's have a look at the defenders, shall we? Who played Euros Fantasy 3 years ago? Well, if you did, there's a very good chance you would whack in Marla from Denmark in your team. Not going to lie, I haven't followed him closely since the last Euros. He was playing for Atalanta at the time, and I knew his game quite well. He was amazing, just attacks at will. Denmark, when we look at clean sheet odds, are fancied for the opening game. I fancy Denmark for a clean sheet. And therefore, because this is an approach of effectively a free hit every single round, I'm happy with having a Danish defender versus Slovenia. Would I want Mæhle versus England or Serbia? Perhaps not. But for the opening game, I really like him. He's not cheap, though, because of what he did last time. 5.5, I'm cool with that. I'm absolutely fine with that because I think you get the upside. I do fancy Germany for a clean sheet with the home advantage. So I've gone for Jonathan Tah, who again is 4.5 million and should be priced higher in my opinion. These Germany defenders will both be starting, Tah and Mittelstadt. Mittelstadt is 4 million and the starting left back for Germany. He is arguably the value pick of the game. In terms of every fantasy game we play, there's always 1 or 2 players that are priced wrong. They're just priced wrong. For those that played FPL 4 or 5 years, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, John Lundstrom was a 4 million Sheffield United defender who was playing centre mid. He was priced wrong. This game has made one big error, and this is the player they've made the error on. Maximilian Mittelstadt. He's only 13% owned, so not a huge amount have clocked this. He plays Scotland, he plays Hungary, he plays Switzerland, so he's in a very good group. He's playing for the second favourites, Germany, or third favourites, Germany, England and France, the favourites. And he's 4 million starting left back. Robin Gosens is the other option at left back who's more expensive, but it's Mittelstadt's spot to lose. So Mittelstadt and Tah give you a complete spend of 8.5 million. It's a bit of a joke. I think you've got to go there. And then it's the more expensive defenders. We've got a couple of Italian defenders. Now, an update on Italy. If you've seen my video about Italy, and it's a great Italy preview, please do go watch it if you haven't watched it. I suggested that Italy 11 will probably be with wing-backs. It'll probably be a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2. However, they played Turkey on Tuesday night, and they went with a 4-3-3, and Spalletti is known for playing 4-3-3. He's always played it. I fancied Italy to go to wing-backs, and they might still do that in Sunday's friendly against, I think they play Serbia. No, Montenegro, I can't remember. They've got a friendly on Sunday. Whether they're playing with wing-backs or not, these are the first 2 choice full-backs. If it's a back 4, Di Lorenzo will be, of course, in at right back, DeMarco at left back. If it's a back 5, Di Lorenzo could be a right centre-back. If he's a right centre-back, you perhaps don't want to spend 5.5. But for the Albania game, I think he's a great pick regardless. So Di Lorenzo at 5.5. DeMarco, when we're talking about clangers and price points, not a clanger, but one that you would think they would have priced him higher, and that's DeMarco. DeMarco is the first choice. Left back at Italy. He's arguably Italy's best player going into the tournament. He'll be on some of the set pieces. DiMarco is an absolute gift. And when we look at ownership, a few know this, right? DiMarco is at 18% owned. Di Lorenzo's at 10% owned. So both these guys are getting a lot of love. Or a bit of love, and you just fancy a clean sheet against Albania. Albania have got a couple of good players, it is worth noting, but you definitely like Italy for a clean sheet. And I do think the strength for this Italy team, certainly for the early games before, if they do indeed click, will be at the back. So Di Lorenzo and DiMarco. If you don't like Di Lorenzo, Bastoni is 5.5. We could see a Buongiorno or a Cambiasso start. I don't think we will. We'll know more after Sunday's friendly. If they do, Buongiorno is 4.5, and I think Cambiasso is the same. Keep your eyes on them because Cambiasso is like a winger who could play fullback. So that's where we're at with the defense. It's not budget. The German guys are cheap, and then I've spent a bit of money, like 2 5.5s in there. One guy I would really like, or two I would really like, are Theo Hernandez, who plays Austria for France. Again, his club form at Milan is better than his international form in terms of progression up the pitch. But I've got my eyes on Theo. He could make it in if I had the money. And Cancelo. Cancelo, again, for those that have played FPL a lot, you know what you get with Cancelo. Attacking returns are really always feel likely. And when you look at the Portugal games, they're in such a good group. We've spoken a lot about Belgium and why I want triple Belgium. Well, Portugal, I think match day 2 against Turkey isn't the easiest, but Czech Republic in match day 1 and then Georgia in match day 3. Yeah, maybe this team needs a little bit more Portugal. And let us know who you're going with in the comments in terms of Portugal players. The obvious ones of Shaw, Ronaldo and Bruno, but Cancelo, even Rafa Leao listed as a forward is an option. I just want to know how the front three works because in the squad, you know, you've got players like Neto and Jota, we know from the Premier League, João Felix. An embarrassment of riches at Portugal. What a squad they have to pick from. Shall we have a look at the goalkeepers then? Now, there is one goalkeeper that isn't in my team, spoiler alert, that again is priced at the proper bargain basement price of 4 million, and he could be a starter for Belgium. But I've got triple Belgium attack at the moment. I could go with Sells in goal and take the Ketelaere out, for example. But at the moment in goal, and remember your keepers, you put the first one in, and if they don't play well, you just sub them and you get 2 bites out the cherry. So my second keepers are, or my 2 keepers are, I've gone Verbruggen, who I expect to be the number 1 for Holland. Again, we don't fully know that, and we'll know after the friendlies. If he is, he's 4.5 million. So I've gone for 2 4.5 options. Verbruggen at Holland, and then Lunin of Ukraine, who plays Romania. Now, it's really important with your goalkeepers, you're not picking 2 players who play on the same day. You definitely need the players to be playing on different match days. So you can start with one. If he doesn't do well, you sub him out. So really, really do consider that with goalkeepers. Elsewhere, I think Pickford at 5 million is unbelievable value. I don't quite understand why the English defenders are expensive, but Pickford's not. And when you look at Donnarumma at 6 and Neuer at 6, I expect Pickford throughout the tournament to outscore those guys. I think Pickford at 5 million is unbelievable value. But because of my chip strategy with the free hit each time, I don't actually need to go there because I think it's a tough fixture for England against Serbia. And the likes of Mitrovic and Vlahovic, you know, they can be dangerous. And maybe with some of the injuries at the back to England, the likes of Maguire might not be around for match day 1. Maybe it's okay to swerve England for the first match day. Of course, as the tournament progresses, we're going to have loads of English players. Harry Kane is very likely to be in my match day 2 or 3, or even both teams, and probably English defence too. But for match day 1, I think I'm okay going fairly cautious on it. Captaincy, it's a big part of this game. It's a big part of this game. Let's see. So with captaincy, you'll be aware you can rotate your captain each match day. You can change it, but it's a game of stick or twist. If you twist, you can't go back to the original guy that maybe got you 4, 5, 6 points. If you get your first guy or any of your captains get you 10 points or 11 or 12, you're going to lock it in, and you're not going to be chasing the upside and twisting. But it's a really nice game to play, and therefore, if you've got a captaincy option every day throughout the match day, so for the first 5 days of match day 1, and then it becomes 4 days, that's really useful. So think about that when you're building a squad. Have I got a captain option each day if I need it? So let's have a look at my captain options. Before we do, I would love you guys to hit that thumbs up. And also, please, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button for me. That'd be amazing. Captains, little icon. Match day one, only Germany, Scotland play. So it'll be my German player. I could go with my defenders, but I'm going to go Wirtz, I think. If he doesn't do well, I'll be swapping it to day two. We have Skamaka in action. Now, it could go to an Italy defender. Of course it could. Day three, we've got England playing. So most will be on Harry Kane there for the armband, but also the Netherlands play. So I could go to a Xavi Simons. Elsewhere, there's not too many options on day three. Denmark, Slovenia, Serbia, Poland are the other teams in action. Now, day four is going to be the day of Kylian Mbappe. Of course it is. He is the game's most popular player. If your captains haven't performed well, you'll be giving Mbappe the armband. If you've got a captain that's got 5-6 points, you're still going to consider going to Mbappe. I think there's a nice differential option here. And there is a world in which I just go, what the hell? I'm going to go Lukaku, who plays on the same day as Mbappe. I think Belgium versus Slovakia could be a really, really good game. That is the 5 p.m. game before Mbappe plays. And then day five, if your captains have failed you, you've still got day five. Turkey play Georgia. Probably don't care too much about that, but you'll be very happy to know Portugal play the Czech Republic. So Ronaldo will be an option. I mean, for me, it's like, I've got options there on Bruno Fernandes. He's my fifth option. Do I think it will get that far? Probably not. But it's always nice to know. When you're picking your teams, captaincy just has to be so important. I really think it has to be. So when we look at my team, shall we look at the players that feel locked and the players that perhaps feel like they could be transferred out? I'm pretty confident on, well, let's go through it from top to bottom. Lukaku's in. Mbappe's probably in, but I could go Ronaldo, so that's not a lock. And Scamacca isn't a lock unless I see him get good minutes on Sunday. But Lukaku from the front line is the only lock, I would say. Midfield, Florian Wirtz is a lock, De Bruyne is a lock, Bruno's a lock. Simons and De Ketelaere aren't, because I just need to know I'm guaranteed minutes there for starts. And again, I won't know that until Holland and Belgium have played their friendlies. And again, I'll be looking at predicted lineups. Remember, the deadline is right up until match day one. So if, for example, I see that Leroy Sané is starting at 7 p.m. and the deadline's 8 p.m. on a week on Friday, I can go, oh, great, Leroy Sané actually starts. I can go Xavi Simons to Leroy Sané. Or, oh, I fancy a punt on Gundogan because I'm just feeling it. And I make that transfer. So it's Simons and De Ketelaere that spots up for grabs. Unfortunately, at 6.5 for De Ketelaere, you are short on options. It is worth noting, Rodri of Spain is 6.5, and Rodri will pick up points for recoveries. And this is a different rule to FPL. The scoring in this game is pretty much the same. There's one or two tweaks. One of them is for every 3 ball recoveries, you gain a point. So your defensive mids actually get a little bit something extra. It's worth noting you also get points if you win a penalty, whether it's scored or not. At the back, who's nailed? The German lads are nailed, unless I go Sane, and therefore I need to sell one, and it will be Tau being sold. DiMarco is nailed. Di Lorenzo, pretty nailed. But I was going to say I'm only putting locks on the 2 Germans and DiMarco. Marla could be sold and Di Lorenzo could be sold. I don't think it'll happen, though. And again, that might be because I've got a little bit of money. At the moment, I'm running at 0.0 in the bank. But if, for example, Mbappe was sold to Ronaldo, I'd have a bit of money to maybe go Cancelo in. And then the goalkeepers, yeah, it could be sells at 4 million if the Ketelaere isn't in the team. But at the moment, I like Verbruggen and I like Lunin. I just need to know if Verbruggen's starting. And Ukraine, Lunin's nice option, perfectly good option there for Ukraine. Who, remember, Ukraine, they've got a favourable group. Like, they are absolutely fancied to get out their group. Yeah, I quite like Ukraine as a bit of a differential option. Obviously, they're in the same group as Belgium, but they've also got Slovakia. They've also got Romania. Now, Ukraine don't play Belgium until match day 3. So if you want to punt on a couple of Ukrainian assets, you're getting a Romania fixture in which they'll be favourites, and you're getting a Slovakia game in which they're favourites. Now, Ukrainian players, of course, are priced as you would expect, fairly cheap. Guys, let me know what you think of the video. On your way out, if you can hit those buttons, that would be amazing. Do join my mini league as well. The code is 7E, capital E, lowercase NSHI. if you want more videos or you've got ideas for videos, let me know in the comments. I wasn't planning on doing any Euros content, but the hype has got me. So the videos aren't edited to their usual high spec, but I'm doing them, clicking a few buttons to still get you some content, and sending channel members, of course, even more content. So if you want to be a channel member, you can check out the join button. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in a couple of days' time, I'm sure, with my locked, if indeed I have any changes to make, team selection towards that deadline. But for now, take care, hit those buttons on the way out, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.